farmer was thrown into a wall into the room they're now in, and 2 Decepticons from the beginning of the issue, the ones who were seeking asylum, show up with guns. Ratchet tries to talk them down, but since no one really has time to fight right now, anyway, and First Aid interrupts, holding jumper cables, and says he has a friend there begging to differ. So we end this issue with the reveal of Fortress Maximus. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to call him Fort Max because it takes less syllables.
Oh, yeah!
He's another brick shit house of a transformer, and he's fucking pissed. So that's the end of the issue. So thoughts, feelings, comments, anything like that on the issue?
I love the fact that this is my Grant. I love how this is like my favorite like page in terms of how it's drawn. Again, respect to artists that love that draw mechs and robots real good, because I could never. That's too much work. But it's just that it ends with this freaking Dwayne the Rock Johnson motherfucking looking transformer about to wreck some fools. I thought it was so good.
Right on the table. Look out, King! Look out! Rock bottom! Rock bottom! There's bottom through a table!
And I was like who comes up with the name what kind of name is Fortress Maximus? Jesus Christ. Like,
dude, it would be so hard to come up with names for Transformers.
But like but it fits because this man's a freaking brick wall, and like I love him.
So picking up right where we left off, we open on Fort Max ripping a dude in two. Insert a joke about jazz in the first movie here.
No! I want two!
I'm gonna put that in the clip. I didn't even think of that. That's hilarious.
It's like so bad, but it's like one of the funniest parts of that movie.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, no, this page is the fact that it started up just straight up rips him in half. I was like, this is so good and it's so well drawn. I was like, wow.
It's very good. All right, so he also kills the other Decepticon, and after that, he kind of starts to calm down a bit. While this is happening, Drift is on the floor dying, and Ambulon is trying to remove the body parts from Fort Max when suddenly Pharma pulls out a gun.
2 hours later.
So moving on to issue 6 here.
Yeah.
So we begin the issue with Fort Max in therapy. His tragic backstory is that he was tortured for a very long time by a Decepticon named Overlord.
Emotional, damn it!
Pictured here with the chainsaw.
Oh, yeah.
Not Overlord. So Fort Max's backstory was he was a prison ward on this planet called Garrus 9, which was just like the prison planet when Overlord came in and took over. And if you want to read about it, there's a mini series called Last Stand of the Wreckers, which will tell you all about that. Okay. But anyway, he's in therapy, and as you can imagine, he doesn't really want to talk about this experience, but his sessions are mandatory since he seems a little bit messed up, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to Swerve's bar. A bunch of people are just sitting around talking. One of them asks Swerve how he's allowed to have the place open, and he's like, funny you asked that. I'm not. Then we got a Trailbreaker, who is this one. He's not important. And he's talking about how overrated Fort Max is, but then he walks in to the bar, and everyone knows his backstory, but they also know that there's something not right about Fort Max right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he blasts pipes.
Yeah.
What you think? You think you're just gonna crush the rock? It doesn't matter what you think.
That came out of nowhere. I was like, oh my god, like, what's going on?
All right, so cut to the incident room here. Fort Max has locked Rung's office up and is now holding him as a hostage, basically. But they can't put more lives in danger by knocking down the door. They're able to patch into a security cam, they realize there's a third person in that room as well. It's Whirl. Whirl being Whirl, he of course has to taunt and egg on Fort Max into more violence.
A few moments later.
Fort Max is upset because essentially he's been told that people higher up than him care about him, but it took them over 3 years to do anything when he and other Autobots were being tortured and held captive on a prison planet for 3 years.
Man, Autobots are fucking dicks, man.
Like I said in the other episode, everyone in IDW is more or less a war criminal.
That's true.
And since he has a big gun and 2 hostages, he demands that Rodimus take him back to Cybertron. He realizes he's being recorded also and rips out the mic, which was built into Rung's thumb. So we also get a panel later of Rung's thumb just on the ground. But World's like, listen, I'm getting bored. Can you just kill us already?
It's so boring.
How does that work? Where does that expression come from? It doesn't make any sense.
Make it stop.
And Fort Max is like, okay, seriously, what's wrong with you, dude? And to save Rung from being blasted, Whirl reveals his tragic backstory. Ratchet calls from the med bay where Pipes and some of the others who got shot are and says that Fort Max is only shooting people who remind him of Overlord. Outside the ship, Rewind is gearing up to take a non-lethal shot at Fort Max, but Rodimus comes up with a new plan. Rewind gives Swerve the gun and is ordered to project something. So it's footage of Fort Max being tortured, and seeing this causes him to shut down, basically.
Emotional damage!
Oh, fuck.
It's very fucked up.
Yeah.
So even though Fort Max is basically out of it now, Rodimus orders Swerve to still take the shot.
Take the shot.
And shout out to our boy Swerve, because he whiffs.
You're a fucking idiot.
Dude, done.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
So Rung gets shot in the head by Swerve, and while this is happening, Whirl also takes the opportunity to stab Fort Max and knock him out.